we were in that range for a very long time. So big consolidation stance that the market was doing. Let's see which way this thing wants to break out of. Obviously, right now it doesn't look good as far as if you're looking for the market to go up. But again, we don't really care. All we care about is opportunities, trading opportunities that the market might give us as we come quick. Our 73 area, we were right down at 67 and change here, and then popped it right back up. 73 area got right up to 72 there. See what it wants to do up here. Again, we are scaling in around our levels, so we're not going to be perfect. Again, got right up to that 72 area, so maybe some of you are in around 72. The lower end of your scale, if you're just trading one lots, trading to 73, that's fine too. Nothing wrong with that. Got our blue band coming in there at 4.5. So right, this area here has a little bit of some semblance of some resistance. Maybe not. Who knows? It just looks like it does, but you never know as we come up here to the 73 area now. Let's see what it wants to do up here. And a little choppy, as you can see. And make sure you keep your stops in place. Now, with this added volatility that the market is giving us, you got to consider your stops to be expanded a little bit. Obviously, when the markets go down, the stops do get expanded because just we're going to have more volatility, especially when the markets start to go down a little bit. They seem to inject more volume and opportunity and movement. So you definitely have to consider that if you're trading, and if it's too much volatility for you, to just trade it a little bit smaller and don't overtrade, and just wait for opportunities there as we kind of rotate back down here to the 73 area. Again, if you got right up to that, we talked about the 75 being the blue band there, and we're getting a nice little rotation here against it. So like I said, that whole area there was little resistance, and we're getting a nice little push here off of that area. Again, hopefully were able to take into consideration the 75 as well, even though we got it right up there. So hopefully you were able to hang in there with it and scale in. We talked about our blue band as well being a little bit of, we have a lot of layers of resistance up there, and the market did finally succumb to that resistance as we're nicely getting off of it. We were able to scale in appropriately around there and take a nice little rotation here. And this is a perfect example how you can take a little bit more than 3 or 4 points out of these trades. Well, right now, probably looking about 3 points for sure on your stops, and we're getting a nice little pop here off of that where you're getting a little bit more than that without too much risk, without hardly any risk. So nice little rotation there against our resistance area. Again, we talked about scaling in. We talked about the blue band coming in there, which was the resistance. Our level was resistance. And you had to kind of scale in. We had layers of resistance up here. Again, we are always looking for reasons to trade with our opportunities. We are not just guessing at these levels. It's not what we do here. We're always looking for reasons to enter in our trades. And if we are patient enough, even though yesterday we had to wait a little bit of time before we finally got the opportunities, and today it kind of happened a little bit quicker. So nice little trade there. If you did jump in, you definitely, if you can trade multiple contracts, you're definitely taking a little bit more than 2 or 3 points. You're getting a nice rotation here off of that. Again, how do you manage that? depends on your risk tolerance. So, and if you look at the chat, you'll see the levels there for us. Those are the levels we gave out this morning. You can see the 73 there is our first level of resistance. Again, you had to manage that a little bit because we talked about the whole area there had some reasons to sell, and we quickly come back down here to our pivot. So nice little trade there if you did jump in, and now we're coming back here to our pivot again. If you're a pivot player, maybe you're taking this. Otherwise, you're looking at the 53 area on the downside. If you were short, this is where I'd probably cover them, at least for the time being, and then be happy with that trade and then look for the next opportunity. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. Don't mind questions. We like questions. All right, the 53 area here is our next level, especially if we break below the 61 or 60 and a half. Looks like if we get below 60 and a half, we might rotate back down to the next level. There is 63, 53. All right, it's definitely kind of testing our. All right, there, Don. Thanks a lot. Right, here's a little push here. Below the 60 area, we're looking at 53 as a target. And we said we got below 60 and a half here. We might push a little bit lower, and that's what the market's doing for us. So we do have momentum trades as well. Again, but we have to let the market set it up for us. We don't just say something. There's a reason why we said that if we get below 60 and a half, we might rotate to the downside here, and that's a way of catching on to the momentum trade. So we don't only fade the market, we're also looking for momentum trades when again the market presents itself. So below 60 and a half, I said we're going to push a little lower, and you got to take some profits too if you are short. You're targeting the 53 doesn't mean we're going to get there. So if you get 60 and a half, you got three and a half, 4 points here. You definitely should take some profits and then see if we can't keep something else for the rotation to the 53. But definitely take a little bit off the table so that you can secure some money, and then we'll look and then wait for the 53 area below. A little 500 lot there at 55 coming into play. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. We are trying to take advantage of ebbs and flows of the market. We'll let the kind of market help us dictate what we're looking for next. Again, keeping you a little bit short here, looking for the 53 area. Oh, they took that 500 lot out. And now coming down here to the 53 area again, we're going to be scaling in around our area here. So keep that in mind. All right. So nice little target here. Getting us down to 53. And if you are getting long here against our first this support level, see what it wants to do. Again, we're trying to keep you short here below 60 and a half, looking for 53, and we got right down to it there. If you're long here now against the 53 area because they're first support level, we're getting a nice rotation here off of it as well. So again, all we're trying to do is take advantage of ebbs and flows in the market based on the levels that we gave out. And if you look at the chat, they're in there for you. And any price action opportunities, we talked about getting short below 60.5 is definitely a price action opportunity as the market here kind of nicely rotates here above the 53 area. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. All right, nice little quick 3 points here, and you should have got 50. If you had 53, you should have got filled because it went down to 275. So this time you didn't have to scale. If you left it at 53, you got it, and you got 3 points here right now. And maybe if you were able to get short there at 16.5, you were able to take a little bit more than that. All right, so nice little trade there against our levels here, and a nice rotation here against the 53. And if you're trying to stay long, a little bit have a trailing stop, and another way you can definitely take more than 3 points out of these trades. You're getting a nice little pop here with no risk. Is it always going to work out this way? Absolutely not. This one just worked out very nicely. All right, nice little rotation there against if you got short and or if you got long. It's amazing how you can make money on both ways in the market, right? And we don't care which way the market goes as long as we try to take advantage of ebbs and flows in the market. Let's see, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has flagged Russia ending the war in Ukraine as the most important thing for the global economy and devastating effects like the weaponizing of food and energy. The warning at the meeting of the G20 finance ministers and the central bank governors came as China pushed for a ceasefire by publishing a 12-point proposal to end the fighting, with the conflict entering its second year. The list was immediately criticized by top American officials like National Security Advisor Jack Sullivan, who said it could have stopped at point one, which is to respect the sovereignty of all nations. It also called for the end of the unilateral sanctions unauthorized by the UN Security Council, where Russia can make use of its permanent veto power. Yeah, okay. Things are going well over there. It's not looking good, I'll tell you that much, especially if China decides to get involved. Oh well. We'll see what happens there. That's getting uglier and getting better. Not job there, Putin, deciding to do whatever he wants to do. Oh well, see what happens, right? Let's hope it ends soon because it just can't keep going on, right? I mean, it's been a year. What's he going to do? Lose some more? He's lost a hell of a lot of people in his army, I'll tell you that much. I don't know. It's not a good thing. It's scary, actually. All right, we do have a number coming out here at the top of the hour, so in about 9 minutes. We have a couple numbers, but we've had a couple nice rotations there against our levels and against a couple price action opportunities as well. But we are staying a little bit weak here. Next support level on the downside we have is down at 41. How bad was 2022 for retirement accounts? Pretty awful. While 401k rose in the fourth quarter, average balances finished the year down 23%. And that according to Fidelity Investments, the nation's largest provider of retirement services with more than 43 million accounts. The average IRA balance plunged by a similar amount, falling 20% year to year. And the 403B plans for public sectors and nonprofit organizations declined 19%. Even more disconcerting is that nearly half of all retirees are now expected to outlive their current savings, which may cause some regrets among those who chose to retire early because of the pandemic, only to be hammered by inflation. 2022 also ended with the lowest personal savings rate since 2005, while households that climbed to the highest level in 2 decades. Okay, market's absorbing all of that. Not looking too good. All right, so we got a couple numbers here. New home sales and consumer sentiment. Then 9:15 we have Fed speak. Uh, then 12:30 another Fed speak if you're going to be. Now we're just kind of hanging here. Again, we had a nice rotation against our 53 area. All right, kind of hanging here on these lows. Uh, Resistance right now, a little bit around our pivot area if you're looking for a little aggressive. But if you did, we've done pretty good this morning with our first resistance area and our first support area, and then we had a little momentum trade there below the 60 and a half if you were able to jump in. Now we're just kind of floating back here into this range. We're kind of flat right now. We do have a couple numbers coming out this morning to create more volatility. I'm going to be flat when the number comes out, so we'll see what happens after that. We just look at the 41 on the downside and the upside. I mean, you could use the 74, 75, but probably if you're more risk averse, and we've done okay this morning, yeah, probably look at the 83 and see what happens from there. All right. So again, we punched up to 61 area there and came down. We got a number coming out here in about a minute, so keep that in mind.